Welcome to Tade MedChem Insights. I am Dr. Tadessa. In this video, we will deal with the design of acetylcholine analogues in medicinal chemistry part 1. If you are a newcomer, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell in order to notify when any video is uploaded. Like, share, and give your valuable comments as well. Let's continue our discussion. Follow me. The design of acetylcholine analogues focuses on creating stable, selective agonists or antagonists for muscarinic and nicotinic receptors, often employing conformational constraint, biosteric replacement, and structure activity relationship studies to increase metabolic stability and subtype selectivity. So the key strategies involve modifying the quaternary ammonium head and ester linkage of the acetylcholine just to resist acetylcholinesterase hydrolysis. So in nature, acetylcholine is unstable due to neighboring group participation, so that the electron withdrawing effect of nitrogen and the carbonyl oxygen pulls electron from carbon, which make the carbonyl carbon, more specifically, highly electrophilic, and hence this carbonyl carbon is prone to nucleophilic attack. So that a design of obtaining acetylcholine is essential. So to see the key design strategies will include conformational restriction. So in the case of conformational restrictions, rigidifying the flexible acetylcholine molecule into specific conformations, such as using cyclic structures like that of the oxazolidinediones and also the N-methyl purinols are very important, that allow for targeting specific receptor subtypes. Another part is bioesteric replacement. The ester group is prone to hydrolysis by the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, so that it's possible to replace with a more stable functional groups such as carbamide, which enable stability while retaining the activity. A very good example here is the carbamyl choline analogues. That is, the carbachol and the Bethanechol are very good example that make the molecule to be more stable and resistant to hydrolysis. Another key strategy to design is subtype selectivity. Since acetylcholine is non-selective, it can bind to both muscarinic and nicotinic receptors. So to design ligands with specific substances pattern on aromatic ring or heterocyclic cation heads, such as using pyridinium, loxim, allow for selectivity between different nicotinic receptor subtypes. And the last kind of design is stereochemistry. So the binding affinity of chiral analogues is often highly sensitive to stereochemistry, with specific enantiomers such as R enantiomers in certain carbamides display significant higher potency. And hence, so these structures, if I'm going to make a kind of circle molecules, so this arrow indicate the inductive pull of oxygen, which increase the electrophilicity of the carbonyl carbon, so that this molecule becomes more prone to any kind of nucleophilic attack, dominantly by that of the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. To tackle the inherent instability of acetylcholine, we are going to use two important approaches. This is the steric hindrance and electronic stabilization or electronic effects. We'll discuss each in detail. Let's start from the steric hindrance. So steric hindrance will be explained using the structure methacholine. So methacholine is one of the important molecules that can be used for diagnosis of asthma. So methacholine has an asymmetric center here, that means chiral, and also it contains the methyl group here. So this methyl group is the one that can hinder the binding of the acetylcholinesterase into the carbonyl carbon, which is highly prone to be easily attacked by nucleophilic molecules, so that it can provide a shield to nucleophilic attack, so that it can bring a shielding effect of the molecules, so that this methacholine contains an extra metal on the beta part of the ethylene bridge, and this molecule will help to try and build a shield for the carbonyl group, which is highly prone to any kind of nucleophilic attack. And hence the bulky methyl groups as compared to the hydrogen as in the case of acetylcholine, because in the case of acetylcholine here they contains hydrogen, so the structure of hydrogen and that of methyl is a little bit different, so the methyl is relatively larger or relatively bulky, so it can hinder the approach of any potential nucleophiles, and so that it can slow down the rate of hydrolysis of the molecule. It also hinder binding of the esterase enzyme. Dominantly, the enzyme acetylcholinesterase is going to be hindered. Thus, it can slow down the enzymatic hydrolysis. So if this is the case, so why don't you apply more bulkier group? That's a question. So why not put bulky group on the acyl half of the acetylcholinesterase molecules, since this would be closer to the carbonyl center and have greater shielding effect? So that is the questions. So why we are not to put on this beta part of the molecules large molecules? So here is the answer. If you are going to put a bulky group on the acyl half of the acetylcholine molecule, is avoided. Why? Because the steric hindrance it creates prevent the molecule from properly fitting into the active site of the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, thus drastically reduce its activity and the hydrolysis rate. It's obvious that the acetylcholine should undergo degradation, but the degradation nature should be certain at a certain rate. So this modification is not used. Because of that, this modification is not going to be used. Why we are not going to use? So one, it can impact the function. So the primary function of acetylcholine is kind of neurotransmission. So it can require rapid termination of acetylcholinesterase. If the acyl group is made too bulky, the enzyme cannot break it down quickly. As we already said that the neurotransmission should be terminated at certain stage. So, but if the enzyme cannot break it down quickly, it can change it from a rapid hydrolyzed ester into a potential inhibitor or a molecule that does not bind at all. Therefore, for effective cholinergic neurotransmission or for designing high affinity cholinergic agonists, the acyl group must remain small, particularly with that of the methyl group. The second approach to tackle the instability of acetylcholine is electronic effect. So we'll discuss the electronic effect using carbachol, which is a long-acting cholinergic agent which is resistant to hydrolysis. So it can be made by simple conversion of the methyl of the acetylcholine by that of the amine parts, which have comparable size. And hence, in the case of carbachol, the acyl methyl group is replaced by the amine groups, as I have already said that. The two molecules, that means the methyl and that of the amine, have comparable size so that they can fit to the receptors. So the resistance to hydrolysis is due to the electronic effect of the carbamate group, since the nitrogen contain a lone pair electrons. So these lone pair electrons will feed into the carbonyl group of the molecule, so that this carbonyl group is no more electrophile, so that it cannot be easily attacked by any kind of nucleophilic groups. So the electronic characteristics is going to be minimized in the case of carbachol. As a result, the carbonyl is no longer susceptible to nucleophilic attack. So based on that, it can produce a kind of resonance structures. As we've seen, the lone pair that are found in the nitrogen will produce a resonance structures. So the double bond will go to here. So this will produce a partial negative part. So this resonance is going to be there. And finally, the nitrogen produces partial positive characteristics, whereas the oxygen produces partial positive. So this is the one that can protect the nucleophilic attack of the carbonyl in the case of the carbachol. And hence the amino group is a very good biosister for the methyl groups as far as the cholinergic receptors are going to be concerned, but not for the esterase enzymes are going to be concerned. Therefore, the inclusion of electron donating groups in general, such as that of the amino groups, that is going to be seen in the case of carbachol, has greatly increased the chemical and enzymatic stability of cholinergic agonists. At last, let's see the combining effect of the steric and electronic activity. So the one that can alleviate the instability of acetylcholine. So this will be discussed by using Bethanechol. So Bethanechol is the molecule that can be made by modifying beta methyl group of the molecules at the beta side. On the case of the carbachol, if we are going to add methyl groups, we can produce Bethanechol. So in the case of Bethanechols, so there is the amine groups, the one that can give the electronic effect by resonance characteristics, so that the carbonyl carbon here is not prone to any kind of nucleophilic attack. Beside that, like that of the methacholine, it contains a methyl group at the beta site of the molecules. So this also will bring the stereochemistry, and having methyl groups on the beta site make also the molecule to be highly selective for the muscarinic effect. Based on that, Bethanechol have both characteristics. So one is because of the amine groups, it can show the electronic effect, and because of that of the methyl groups, it can bring a shielding effect since it is near to that of the carbonyl carbon. Besides that, this methyl groups is the one that can also give selectivity for the drug, so that the beta methyl, this is the beta methyl group, increases the stability of the acetylcholine analog through steric effect. So they can have a shielding effect and has an advantage of introducing some selectivity. Besides that of steric effect, they can also introduce selectivity toward the muscarinic receptor. And also it would be also interesting to add the beta methyl groups to that of the carbachols, as we have seen in the previous case. So when the beta methyl is going to be added to the carbachol, we can obtain the Bethanechol. So the compound obtained in Bethanechols, as expected, is the one that have stable bonds to the hydrolysis and also selective in its action. It has a dual action in the case of Bethanechol. It is less susceptible for the enzyme degradation. Beside that, it also have selectivity to the muscarinic receptor. And also they have a symmetric center, so being chiral is also an important characteristic of the molecules. And the amino group has greatly increased the chemical and enzymatic stability, so that this molecule is highly resistant to the enzyme acetylcholinesterase. And Bethanechol is considered a highly selective muscarinic receptor agonist because of the presence of beta-methyl group, and has virtually no effect on nicotinic receptors. That means it is selective towards muscarinic receptor. So this is all for today. If you are a newcomer, please subscribe to the channel, which helps the channel to grow, and also leave your important comments, like and share for your friends wherever they are. Thank you very much.